सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करम् अस्मद्गुरुचरणारविन्दाभ्यां नमः। श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ओम्। last class, I think we saw up to 27th or 28th shloka. We just go from 26 so that we get a continuity. Atma samstitihi swatma darshanam atma nirdvaya atma nishtata. Okay. Atma nishtata. What does atma nishtata means? To be established with that one thought that aham atma, aham brahma asmi is nothing but seeing no two different, non-dual Atma. There is no two different, including Jivatmas, including Paramatma. There is no separate, and that Atma is none other than me. Okay. So, like as Adi Shankara says, in a very simple word, he said, Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya Jivo Brahmaiva Na Aparaha. Brahma Satyam is one part. Jagan Mithyatvam is another part. If you talk of Brahma Satyatvam, there is a Brahman which is the Satyam, is how we understand. Fine. If we are at that Atma which is Brahman, and that is the only Satyam, when we say, it is perfectly okay. The problem is, I am different and that Brahman is different, it becomes that duality comes in. Jivo Brahmaiva na aparaha. I am that non-dual Brahman. That is the Advaita. Not Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya is not the Advaitam at all. Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithyatvam is Atma Anatma Vivekaha, nothing other than that. Atma Anatma Viveka is what? What is Vivekaha? Atma and Anatma, the discrimination between that. What is Atma? Brahma Satyam. What is Anatma? Jagan Mithyatvam. Automatically it becomes. That is not a big thing. But Jivo Brahmaiva Naparaha, I am that which is not separate than that Brahman, it is me. That is the biggest thing. So here he says, Atma Nirdvaya, that Atma is no other than me, which I am trying to see and I am being established in that. Atma Samsthitihi, there is no second Atma. Without a second Atma, abiding by one's own self, in one's own. Okay, that is the meaning here. Right. We will go one or two more and then I want to actually give you very nicely how Bhagavad Gita tells the same thing. Jnana Varjita Ajnana Hina Chit Jnana Masti Kim Jnatum Antaram. Ajnana Hina Chit. What is Ajnana? Ignorance. Hina means without. That Chit is ever knowledgeable and never ignorant. Ajnana Hina Chit is this Atma is never ignorant at all. It is always of the conscious. It is that pure consciousness is ever knowing everything. Okay. Which means when that is ever knowing, where is the question of Jnanam coming or Jnanam going for this Atma? Okay. How is this to be looked now? Why is he telling this? The earlier he said Atma Nirdvaya is clear. Then why he has to tell this thing? Here is bringing an equation A equal to B, B equal to C, that means A equal to C. What is he trying to tell? I am that Brahman. Atma Nirdvaya is told in that earlier. Correct? Then Atma is omniscient. Atma. I may not be omniscient. Let us first understand Atma is omniscient. Brahman is omniscient, omnipresent, omnipotent, everything. Sarvajñatva is there. Okay, that is that Atma. What did he establish? That Atma, which is Sarvajña, is none other than me. If I am that Atma which is Sarvajña, how can Jnana come to me and Jnana go from me, or where is Ajnana in me then? If I am considering myself to be Anatma or some other Atma, then all this is true. Correct? The moment I have told that I am that non-dual Atma, Atma by nature is Sarvajña, then I am Sarvajña at all times. Then where was my ignorance? Was it in Atma? It was never in the Atma. So ignorance, Jnanam, Bandha, Moksha, is it there for Atma or is it there for this Sharira and the Manas? And that is what he says. Whenever we say, I got the Jnanam, see, we are passing with time. It's a time continuum. You are putting an effort, there is a result. Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana is Ajnanam related time dependent effort. Till a point when it comes, and at that point you realize that you are the Atma and you are never an Ajnani. I superimpose my Ajnanatvam on my Atma and called myself Bandha. And I myself removed that Ajnanam and I said, I am knowledgeable now, and now you call it moksha. Isn't it a self-fooling prophecy? Which Atma by itself is never ignorant because it is ever knowledgeable of everything. And when I owned up that I am that Atma, then I am ever knowledgeable about everything. Where is the question of Jnanam coming to me? But to transact that Jnanam, which I have so called, again, when you have to tell this, you have to use a verb. The problem is you have to use a verb. So called, as I realized it, I understood it, I became knowledgeable, whatever you call, it becomes a Kriya. The moment it becomes a Kriya, then you are superimposing on Atma something. So, in order not to get confused, he is very clearly giving an other logic that actually knowledge did not come to the Atma or knowledge did not go. The Atma was ever knowledgeable. I only owned up that I am that ever knowledgeable Atma. And the moment I own it up, that is the time I say that knowledge came to me. The event of owning up is what I call as knowledge is coming to me. I got moksha. Ajnana went. You understand? It is just to have a transactional verbal communication. You superimpose a verb into the whole thing, which actually is not there. As much as I want to transact a milk and take it inside me, I bring a cup and remove the cup to show that the milk is moving. Like that, I bring in Ajnanam, remove the Ajnanam and say as though Jnanam is coming, which is already a Jnanam which I am always and ever will be. Whoever does not understand is their problem, but from Atma's perspective, it's never. It is like saying that when is it going to be daytime at the sun? If you are sitting on the sun, when is it day and when is it night? It is ever day, there is no night. So the reference comes only when you are away from the sun. The moment you have wound up, you are sitting on the sun, there is no day and night. That means when you have said I am Atma, you are Sarvajña at all times. There is no question of ignorance and there is no question of knowledge. Because I am omnipresent and omnipotent and omniscient at all times. Is it clear? Okay, right. So, Jnanam asti kim jnatum antaram, if you ask this question For me to know that I am ignorant or become knowledgeable, I need to have another Atma to know it. It is saying that for me to say that, am I your only child? To prove that I am not your only child, you need to have another child, right? As your sibling. Otherwise, you can't prove. When there is no other child at all, where is the question of asking, am I the only child? That's how he says that if you say that Jnana Varjita was never ignorant, Jnanam Asti, there is no arrival of Jnanam, Kim Anantaram Jnatum, there needs to be someone else to be knowing this, that something comes and goes. When there is nothing else, that means I am knowledge embodied at all times. Okay, then says Kim Swarupam iti Atmadarshane Avyaya Abhava Purnachit Sukham. So now he is bringing that Ananda part into after Sat and Chit. Now he is bringing what is this Swarupam of this Atma. If you ask the nature, what is this Swarupam of Atma which I have owned up that I am that? I am that Purna Chit Sukham. Purna Chit Sukham, limitless existence, consciousness, principle, which never comes and never goes. Avyaya Abhava, never comes and never goes. I am always that. Okay, clear? This is what refers here. Now, the 29th shloka says, if you look at it from that perspective, Bandham Mukta Atitam Param Sukham. So, was there a Bandha and was there a Mukta for this Atma? Never. Atma never had a Bandha. Atma will never have a Mukti. So, whenever I say that I am born, I have got moksha, it is never the Atma. It is always my mind which is bound, my mind which is free. Okay, Atma was ever free and Atma can never be bound. Why? It is limitless. For binding you need another one. Dvaita bhayam bhavati, there is no second at all. Where is a question of binding? जो है वो एक ही है. There is no second at all. Makes sense? And hence, Bandham and Muktam, these words do not even come under the glossary or dictionary of Atma. It is Atitam Param Sukham. Atitam Param Sukham. Iha Vinda. You better understand this. Jivastu Daivikaha. This understanding is here and in this world and now. There is no posthumous. There is nothing called after death I will get a liberation. No. Here and now when you are alive, understanding that I never have a bondage and I never have a moksha because I am Atma Swarupa, ever Sukha, limitlessly the only Advaya. I am that. The moment you have owned it up, this question and all does not arise. Are you able to get this? Yeah? This is exactly in the 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Yatra cha eva atmana atmanam pashyan atmani tushyati. 6th chapter, 20th shloka. Yatro paramate chittam niruddham yoga sevaya. Yatra chaivatmanatmanam pashyannatmani tushyati. Yatra cha eva atmana atmanam pashyan atmani tushyati. 3 atmas are coming here in this sentence. Okay, he says that freedom, yatra, that samadhi is atmanam, your own atma, atmana, seeing yourself in your mind, and atmani tushyati, being completely of the nature of happiness. Okay, he says the same thing, sukham atyantikam yat tad buddhi grahya atindriya. So I am that sukha swarupa, atyantika sukham, which cannot be even described by indriya. It is atindriya sukham because of buddhi grahyam, my mind getting this clear knowledge, aham Brahma Nirdvaya Advitiya Brahma Aham Eva Asmi. Okay. The next sloka again in Bhagavad Gita talks about that. Yam labdva cha aparam labham. Okay, leave that. That is talking a little different. Yasmin sita dukkhena, leave that also. Tam vidya dukkha sanyoga viyogam yoga samjitam. He says, understand what is this whole meaning of getting moksha. Tam vidya, you better understand. Dukkha sanyogam viyogam yoga. Disassociation of the association with dukkha. समझ में आ रहा है? What is moksha? Disassociating with the association of dukkha is moksha. That means what? Nothing new came in. I had the association, ever association with that Atma, because I am the Atma, but I always had association with dukkham, which never I could see that I am the Atma. Removal of that is Atma Sakshatkar. By this, what happens, you are negating a particular aspect that the knowledge dawned upon me. I got the knowledge. Aham Brahmasmi, when you say, whatever comes will have to go. So one day it will go. The moment you say, I got the knowledge, that knowledge will go, because it is not swatas siddham. Then what are you saying? I was always knowledge embodiment. Kim swarupam atma darshana, I was chit swarupam at all times. Dukkha sanyoga, I never understood that. Then what did I do? Dukkha sanyoga viyoga, when I did, it is like मेरा बच्चा तो था, वो बच्चा मेले में खो गया, आज मुझे वापस मिला, तो मुझे बच्चा आया नहीं है, मेरे पास मेरा ही वो बच्चा था, लेकिन मेले में खोया हुआ बिछड़ा हुआ बच्चा आज मुझे दिखाई दिया. Same way, that Atma which I was not at all seeing, I owned it up, and Dukkha Sanyoga, with that Viyoga I got. Are you getting it? So that getting that knowledge has to be understood properly, because the moment you verbalize it, that is why that word verbatim, verbalize means you are putting an action into it. The moment you put an action, it is kriyatmaka. Kriyatmaka comes with time. Then there is no question of avyaya and abhava. It is vyaya and bhava. Whatever comes will have to go. Yes, there is something which has come now. Let it come out from the mind.
He said like realization. Realization we use.
What is
to realize?
What is that realization? Kriyatmaka. Isn't it a verb?
Yes.
any verb you use, you are understating what has happened. That is why you make it verbal. The moment you say make it verbal, that verbal, a word coming out from your mouth has objectified it. That is why the Upanishad says that Mauna Vyakhya, I cannot even tell what it is. Because the moment I tell, if transaction is associated, you have objectified it. How not to objectify the subject and yet communicate is the biggest challenge which Upanishad has. Because whatever you do, you will objectify it. That is why I think in Kenopanishad, he says, Naham Veda Sudeva. I know that I do not know that what you know is what you do not know, and that is Atma. Telling the teacher, I know that I do not know. Because whatever I attach to it, because the teacher is asking, did you understand? If you say I understood, Gaya. If you say I didn't understand, Gaya. I know that I know. Correct? I know that I do not know. Both are true here. Which you know that I know. That is how he is putting it. Naham Veda, I will remove that. It's a very tricky way to tell that. It is like saying the same na tam vidya dukkha sanyoga viyoga. Whether you have to take sanyoga or viyoga, if you take it opposite way, it is gone. Dukkha sanyoga, viyoga of dukkha sanyoga. If you say dukkha of viyoga, there is a problem. With time, sanyoga will come there. And there is a difference between removing the disassociating with dukkha and disassociating with the association with dukkha. Please understand that? It has gone more subtle. At no point of time this dukkha can come to me because I have nipped it from the bud, because I have removed the association itself with it. If you say I have disassociated the dukkha, it can associate anytime later. I have removed that connection, that umbilical cord is cut. Now that child can never get attached to me physically because I have cut the cord. I haven't moved the child away. I have cut the cord now. There is a difference in this. By cutting the cord, the child anyway has moved away. That's how he is saying it. Is it clear? This, especially when it comes to that really understanding and explaining it, how much ever we use our intelligence, we will fail. That is the time we understand that only the Shastra way is the best way. Either through a story or through a simile or through something they will tell and they will clarify it so that you will not misunderstand it. Otherwise, there is a very high scope of misunderstanding it. Is it clear? Okay. With that, we should be going to the last shloka, if I am not wrong. Yes, the 30th shloka. He says, Ahamapetakam Nija Vibhanakam Mahat Idam Tapaha Ramana Vagyam. Okay. Aham Apetakam. Now here Aham is what? Not Brahman, not Atma. Aham is Ahankara. Apetakam is the remover. Who is the guy who removes this ahankara in me? Okay. And nija vibhanakam. It is self-effulgent, is self-evident in me. That self-evident ahankara nasha karanam. Who is that who has removed this ahankara in me? Who is that self-evident, always there, which is me? Mahat idam tapaha. This knowledge is the highest tapas. Okay. Such a knowledge, being established in this knowledge, that self-effulgent Atma, Aham, that Brahman, Atma, is the remover of this Aham. That Aham falls down. It detaches this Aham because it is self-effulgent. This is the Mahat Idam Tapaha, this is the highest of the tapas. Because when it comes to the 5th chapter, Dravya Yajñas Tapo Yajña Jnana Yajñas Tathapare Swadhyaya Jnana Yajñascha Yatayas Samshati Vrataha. He clearly clarifies that out of all the Yajñas, Jnana Yajna is the highest of it. 5th chapter, 12 different tapas is told. Then he says Jnana Yajna is the highest of the tapas, because being established in that and being in that is the toughest one, because you are 24/7, 365 during your waking state, deep sleep state and dream state. You are established only with that one knowledge, Aham Atma Asmi. At no nanosecond also, this is missed out. Okay. It is like how, maybe to give you a simile or an upama. This upama is very clearly, it is a materialistic example, but you have to understand what we need to refer here. When I am driving a vehicle, let's imagine a scooter, a two-wheeler or a four-wheeler, I am driving. Aren't you established in that driving? During driving, are you established in it or not? Any other thought which comes, is that thought changing your driving? Any other activity which is happening, is it changing your driving? Your driving is continuing the same way. You may talk, you may listen to song, you may speak to someone, you may do anything, you may check your mobile, you may do whatever you want, but you are in that vehicle driving nishtha. That is the Tambura Shruti going on. You never miss out the road, you never miss out changing the gear, you never miss out putting the brake, you do the wheels, the steering, everything just goes smoothly. Over that Tambura Shruti, the rest of the activities are on. Correct? Even if something has to get stopped, that all gets stopped when it comes to preference to driving. When you are driving, you can't say 1 minute, I will just pause the driving, let me finish the talk and now continue driving. That will never happen. You will stop the vehicle, that means driving is stopped. But while driving, you are in driving nishtha. 1 hour, half an hour, 4 hours, whenever you are driving, tell me 1 second when you are not in that nishtha. Isn't it effortlessly happening? When you are walking, isn't the leg, the eyes coordinating and just continuing the right direction without hitting someone just because you are thinking something, you don't go and bang somewhere. Nishtha is there. Correct? Like that, Atma Nishtha, once it is there, to get that is the toughest one. All the other Nishthas come to us, but Atma Nishtha is the toughest one. And that comes with Jnana only. Jnana is what? Coming of Jnana again is what? Owning up that Aham Jnana Swarupaha is the Jnana, nothing else. Okay. Mahat idam tapaha, he says, Ramana Vakyam. Ramana Vakyam. Vak is words. These are the words given by Ramana. Okay. There is another meaning also to it. This is where the intelligence, whenever you have poets, sages were called as Kavi. Always many rishis are called Kavi. Because intelligence of there comes down through words. If you see it as this is the words of Ramana Maharshi, that is one meaning to it. What is the another meaning? Ramaniya Vagyam. Is there any other Ramaniya Vag other than this? There is nothing. So here you can see that he has even disassociated himself by putting his name. How can you put your name and still get disassociated? Because the name has another meaning to it, which is fitting to the context. Ramaniya Vagyam. It is not me telling, it is the most beautiful statement in the world that this is what is the reality. Ramaniya Vag. Isn't it a very intelligent way of putting it? Okay, and that is how this 30 shlokas of comprehensive, in-depth, going straight from the gross karma, straight jumping into prana, then going into upasana, after first 15 shlokas jnanam, and then straight going into nididhyasana, and then breaking what is mind, cutting it off, and then going to what is that sentiency in that mind, coming to that I, then that I becoming ahankara, then ahankara falling down from with Atma, and then started giving all the clarifications related to Atma, and ending it up saying that this is not just me alone, it is me, Isha Jivayoho Bheda Abhida. So, Aham Brahma Asmi, a complete Mahavakya, and Aham understanding by Panchakosha Viveka. Correct? He bought Vigrahendriya Pranadhitama, he bought in Panchakosha Viveka also he bought, and then he says, I am no different than Ishvara, Vesha Abhida, we both are the same, only that Upadhi is different. And then he says, it is also, you should not consider that I got the knowledge, I became Mukta, I was ever Mukta, I was wrongly considering myself Baddha, I stopped doing it. I held my original nature. I am into the green room again. I stopped playing all the roles. I am into the green room with my original role. Aham Atma Eva Asmi. This is one of the highest tapas and the most beautiful tapas. Correct? With this, Upadesa Saaram is over by Ramana Maharshi. Hopefully, it is a tough topic. It is not an easy one. Because after 15, it starts getting more and more subtle when subjectivity comes in. I have tried my best to clarify with whatever examples and possibilities. But more and more, when you review this as the learnings go ahead, more and more this starts talking very clearly. Because many a times our limitation of knowledge becomes a problem in terms of even understanding, because these are terse verses. They are not very, very easy. But in the 30 verses, the whole of Vedanta, the whole of Vedas, Karma Kanda, Upasana, Jnana Kanda, Phalam, and sadhanas, karma, bhakti, yoga, dhyana, jnana, everything, Ishvara, everything is come into that whole one capsule in 30 shlokas, and he has given it. So it's very, very difficult to get such a comprehensive one. And added to it, with this tune, you love to keep hearing it irrespective you know the meaning or not. So you want to hum it. ऐसा at least by heart करो. That it will be useful one day when you start seeing the meaning of it. Right now start with associating with the music, then associate with the meaning, then disassociate with both. Okay. So any questions you all can ask. Otherwise, we should start another topic in the next class. Another one class we should start. Any questions on this? नहीं, चलो ठीक है. So by Guru's grace, by God's grace, we have completed Upadesa Saaram. And what do we start next? Anything in your mind? Of course, even if you all say whatever you want, it will go as per that stage only. You may ask for Brahma Sutra. Children will ask. The mother doesn't give because तो वैसा है. तो जो ठीक है वही देंगे, लेकिन पूछ लेते हैं भाई क्या चाहिए तुमको, पूछ लेते हैं अभी. At least to know what is in your mind. Hey, you all can also say we'll stop the class here. 8 o'clock class, we will stop it. That also you can say. If that is in the mind, say that. No problem.
Nandashashti Kavacham, I know it's a shloka, but I've heard of Swami Yogananda's kind of, he has also given like a meaning of like his, his Bhashyam, or he's explained that also. Is Nandashashti Kavacham's that Bhashyam, is that similar to other shlokas, like, what they like Lalita Sahasranamam or Vishnu Sahasranamam, or is there something different about Nandashashti Kavacham? I was surprised to see that in one of his videos that he's talked about Nandashashti Kavacham.
Okay. First is I need to admit I do not know Skanda Shashti Kavacham. So I do not know it, I have not learnt it. Then comes the meaning of it. So I do not know the meaning. So I'm not the person who can answer this. But I'm for sure I can tell you, if Swami Omkarananda has told, then you will see a great different meaning to it than the normal meaning also to it. Because he will remove out all the other meanings to it and he will connect it beautifully. That undoubtedly I can tell you. But it is very, very specific to a Tamil literature, a Tamil, so there needs to be a connect to only those type of examples, and there will be many which is related to the Tamils, everything will be given there. So Tirukural will come, all those will come as example, and very less of in general which people will understand as Upanishads, Adi Shankaras, and those things will be less. Okay. But I am not aware. I mean, I have not learned it, so I am not aware of it. Skanda Shashti Kavacha.
I was going to say, you know where we are, so like Upadesa Saaram, I could not have even suggested. So whatever you think is the right step.
That's okay, but anything in your mind, see, now that, see, you know, normally at the age of 2, to a child, you don't ask what do you want. But at the age of 4, 5, you start asking because the child starts asking, I want this, I want this. Now, after 2, 3 years, you all have come to the age of 5 children. So, abhi to कुछ ना कुछ तो मालूम है समथिंग इट्स नॉट दैट आई डोंट नो एनीथिंग नहीं रहेगा आप लोग भी थोड़ा इधर उधर हाथ मारे रहेंगे देयर विल बी सम इंक्विजिटिवनेस टू सी अरे दिस इज समथिंग ये मालूम पड़ा तो अच्छा रहेगा डजंट मैटर आस्क
That is isn't it in similar lines?
It is in similar line.
That our knowledge is, or is it still higher text for us?
Okay, one is Viveka Chudamani. Okay, then anything else?
Vedanta Saaram, sir.
Vedanta Saaram. Okay. Then
Mandukya Upanishad.
starting with PhD here. Among the Upanishad also Mandukya comes last.
Oh,
More or less.
my
Mandukya, you know how many shlokas are there? How many mantras?
12 mantras.
That's all. For which you can't learn Mandukya
Oh,
without Gaudapadacharya's Bhashyam on it. More than 200 verses on Bhashyam on Mandukya, you have to go. Mandukya can never be learned only with this 12 mantras. Without Gaudapadacharya's 200 shlokas, you can't touch Mandukya. It will go together only. It is that I wouldn't say tough, but then it is so condensed, comprehensive. It is something like an Upadesa Saaram, everything getting condensed.
or else it will be challenging.
No, and we will not, this cannot be taken so fast. Mandukya and all much later. But yes, Mandukya is something which we should aim one day to complete Mandukya.
Okay.
Vedanta Sara, this all would be, the moment you go to Vedanta Sara, they are all like, one is, they are more towards Nididhyasanam, less of, so it will start becoming draga. Be careful about all that. Unless you have a real, because everything is just going to be Atma only, no Anatma there.
I think this comes in the Upanishad, but the conversation between Nachiketa and Yama, which is there something?
Kathopanishad. Kathopanishad is Nachiketa Yama. Kathopanishad. Beautiful Upanishad. Ushan Havaipa Jashravasa Sarva eva santatau tasya Nachiketa nama putra asa Tadum Kumar. There in Kathopanishad, maybe just a gist I can tell you. This boy, 8-year-old boy Nachiketas was there, and his father Vajashravas was doing a Vishwajit Yagam. In Vishwajit Yagam, you are supposed to complete the yaga and give off everything what you possess. You have to give away as dhanam everything what you possess. So his father was giving all the cows. They were all, the way it is described is, these cows could not even stand and eat. They were so weak and they couldn't even drink water. और जिसको भी देगा उनका ऊपर भारी बोझ गिरेगा. तो ये दानम दे के मतलब नहीं है. Right? Now why he was giving? Because Vishwajit Yagam is told to get Swarga. If you do that Yagam, you will get Swarga. So his father did it. So Nachiketas went and stopped. He said, why are you doing this? They cannot eat, they cannot drink water, forget ability to give milk, impossible. So it is a burden. You are giving a liability to someone. If father, you just go away, move. एक दो बार बोला, just go away. So to get his attention back, Nachiketas asked, whom are you going to give me to? You are supposed to give everything, na? Whom are you going to give me to? Go away, चिल्लाया. दो तीन बार पूछे तो he said, Mratyave etvam dadhamiti. I will give you to Yamadharmaraja, he said. Normally, get out, go to hell, we say, na? Go to hell. That is what he meant. Get out from here. This boy said, okay, now you have given me. I have to go to Mrityu now. He says, no, I didn't mean that. He says, no. You are coming from such a cultured family. If you have given a word, you can't go behind it. Not acceptable. So I have to go, and I will go. And he goes. When he goes to Yamadharmaraja's place, Yamadharmaraja was on an official tour. He was not at home. 3 दिन का टूर के लिए बाहर निकल गए थे. And his wife was there. So, as per the Shishtachara, this boy was waiting outside. He said, no, without the Swami of the house, I will not get into the house. I will wait out. So 3 days, this boy is sitting out without eating, without doing anything. Immediately, when Yamadharmaraja comes, his wife says, see, go first attend to this boy. If you don't attend, like a Brahmahatya you will get. You will get a Shabam. You are not attending to a Brahmin boy who is waiting for 3 days. Making a Brahmin wait for 3 days is a Mahapapam. Go and first attend. So he comes and he says, come, you eat something and all those. And then he says, for 3 days you are out. I owe you 3 boons. You ask 3. Varam Radinishwa, you ask. So the first boon Nachiketas asked was, he was very clear that he will go back. He didn't want all this that send me back and all. He clearly and very intelligently asked, when I go back, my father should accept me the way I came here. मतलब वो भूत समझ के डरना नहीं मानते. Which means I am going back. So Yamadharmaraja tathastu done. Then he said that for what my father did this and for what so many people are doing this, can we have a sure shot method to attain Swarga? He says, yes, I will teach you that. And when he taught, Nachiketas was so sharp. In one, when he was told, he repeated the whole thing exactly with all the details. And Yamadharmaraja himself said that I haven't seen an intelligent person like you. So this particular yajna or this homa, this Agni itself is called Nachiketa Agni. Okay, this is Nachiketa mantra is that if this is told, 100% Swarga. Tathastu. So not only he gave the solution, he gave वो बोलते ना सिर्फ रास्ता बना के नहीं दिया, और रास्ता में तुम्हारा नाम भी डाल दिया, बोर्ड भी डाल दिया, तुम्हारा रास्ता है ये, तो एक पे एक फ्री, सोने पे सुहागा. Says okay, what is the third one? He says these are all okay. Third question is what happens after death? He says what happens after death? He says I can't tell you all that. If not you, who will tell that? You are the best suited to tell. If not you, who will tell that? No, you do one thing. I cannot tell you are a small kid. Why? No, you ask me any riches, you ask me long life, you ask me so many generations of yours, they will have no problem at all. With all the riches, I can give you the whole world riches at your feet. He said, for what you are ready to give me all this, then I will not settle for anything lower than this. Okay, and after thoroughly checking sadhana chatushtaya sampatti of Nachiketas, Yamadharma Raja had to agree he is eligible for this jnana. There is no way, he is very clear, and he is not, you cannot lure him with anything else other than giving this vara. So then he teaches the whole Atma Vidya to him. Okay, that is Kathopanishad. He completely teaches the whole thing, and that's how Nachiketas comes back. This is completely called Kathopanishad. Kathashaka, it comes in Kathashaka, so it is Kathopanishad. That's all. So when we get into Upanishad, it will be Mundaka Upanishad, which is the first. Simple Upanishad, which is detailed. Then Kenopanishad, Kathopanishad. Okay. Taittiriya Upanishad can come after that. Then Prashnopanishad. Then Ishavasya Upanishad can come only after that. Okay. Mandukya. Mandukya, although it's tough, can be bought, because by the time you come to Ishavasya, Mandukya, you will be able to understand, you will be able to digest it. Because Chandogya and Brihadaranyaka are big ones, it is kept in the last. They are not tough, but they are too big. Brihadaranyaka is too exhaustive. Story का पीछे story चालू ही रहता है. Okay, and your Tattvamasi comes in Chandogya, Shvetaketu, and then Brihadaranyaka will come. Like that, 10 Upanishad, Dashopanishad will happen in this sequence only. No other sequence it will happen. Okay, so Katha also you understood, Mandukya also you understood. Without Mandukya, Karika of Gaudapadacharya, you can't touch Mandukya Upanishad. Okay, then what we will do is there are 108 shlokas which are selected from Viveka Chudamani. So we will take this 108 shlokas which are important shlokas, like 21 most likely questions. If you take the 21 most likely questions, then it is, you have completed 80% of the syllabus. The other 20% is sitting frills or expansion of only this. Like that, out of 500 odd, 555 I think, the Viveka Chudamani has, we will take only 108, but this 108 are comprehensive package, like condensed milk, has everything of this 555. Okay, so we will take that. I have already started in another class. but this class is more than a repetition, and refining process will continue. Okay, so we will try doing that, and we will complete that 108 shlokas. That itself will take some time. By the time we will see, I will ask Swamiji what should I take next. Then only we can. Till now, I have got a permission only to take this 108 shlokas of Vivekachudamani. After that, if I ask, it will be take the whole Bhagavad Gita shloka by shloka. After that only, so once I have started that, we are in the 5th chapter, or we are in the 6th chapter. So by the time I complete that to at least 8, 9 chapter, then Upanishad will start somewhere. It is assumed that who have attended that are going to attend Upanishad. Without that, I can't touch Upanishads. Although Mundaka and all are very easy, but without understanding comprehensively the meaning of Vedanta, the moment you start the Upanishad, because Upanishads are not, it's not made by people that it is logically, properly going, it is like strewn everywhere, so you can get lost easily. But once you have that string in your mind, what we want to look at, then you easily find a path and go. So the GPS comes in Bhagavad Gita. First, Bhagavad Gita gives you the GPS. Then you use that compass to navigate in the Upanishads. Upanishad clarifies it. Otherwise, you will get lost in Upanishads. That is the only problem. Okay? Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Okay. Another thing is, if you want to tell whomever you want, even if they don't know anything, if they know Tattva Bodha, it is good. But if they don't know, even the concepts of Tattva Bodha will come in Vivekachudamani. So it is for a person who doesn't know anything, can try coming. You can call as many people as you want. Only thing is, they shouldn't disturb the class. Let them come. If they wish to continue, let them continue. If they don't wish to continue, let them leave. Tathastu, no problem. Let them not just disturb by muting, unmuting video, walking here and there, talking TV, drinking coffee. Also, mat karo bas. Whoever wants are welcome. Yeah, more people should be there. I think it's an opportunity to induct more people now in this. So you can also put it in our group, sir. You can put in our group, no problem. That we are going to start. So whoever is interested, shuru kar sakte hai. Some people, that old love will start getting regenerated. You know, बहुत साल के बाद, oh we had during COVID वेदांता था, चलो वापस आज मौका मिल रहा है, आने दो. राइट, चलो आइए.
धन्यवाद सर.
धन्यवाद सर. धन्यवाद. धन्यवाद.